again show gratitude. All of you who are taking the time to comment, and just in case you're not on Patreon, you're watching this somewhere else, if you're ever curious about what emojis to post in the comments, they will be the emojis that I put in the title. Because I can't really tell you which emojis we'll be using, because it's not until I finish the complete story that I have an idea of which ones I want to use. But if you want to contribute, like everyone else, and help out, with the comments, and that definitely helps my algorithm show support in a small way, then those are the emojis. But to my Patreon people, you guys have been amazing. I really, really, really appreciate the support. It warms my heart to have a beautiful community like you. And I think y'all are adorable. Every time I see those little comments, I'm like, look at my babies. I'm a weirdo. Anyways, let's get started. Okay, so what is the energy for today's collective? And I felt a very African deity vibe, so that's what we're going to be tapping into today. And we start with Tanit, pleasure. Oh, okay. Let's see. Abolnimba, harvest. And please forgive me if I'm butchering the names. I don't know how to pronounce them correctly. And Sekhmet. So Sekhmet and Oshun kept showing up while I was shuffling. Actually, Sekhmet only showed up once. Oshun showed up a couple of times. Because she showed up when I was shuffling this deck. And she showed up when I was shuffling this deck. So that's when I was like, So this could be a message to some of you from Oshun. For some of you, this could be a message from Sekhmet. We'll see. We'll see as we go. So let's read number 15, Sekhmet. Sekhmet is a badass. All right. So, Sekhmet is the fierce ancient Egyptian goddess of war, the sun, and healing. She carries life force in her palm with the power to create or destroy. Sekhmet's guidance says, heal thyself. Everyone gets your best except you. You are a healer among your tribe. Stop putting your needs last. Embodiment says, when did you decide to become a martyr? Take a breath. Wounded healers hold sadness, rage, and fears of brokenness. Being a warrior wasn't a choice for our beloved foremothers. They did the best they could, but being a goddess warrior for us is knowing that we have the choice not to fight all the time. Deep dive questions. What are your swords, the weapons you use to fight? And what are your shields, the ways you defend yourself? Dare to lay the burdens down along with your swords and shields. Goddess declaration, it is safe to put myself first. Okay. Interesting. Let's see Tanit. By the way, the numbers here are 15, which reduces down to 6, 11, which is a 2, and 43, which is a 7. Okay, so Tanit was the goddess of the stars in ancient Carthage. Today, all the way over in Ibiza, they still have pleasure-filled full moon midnight table dancing parties in her name. Wow, I did not know that. Okay. Tanit's guidance, you are thirsty for more pleasure. You can't thrive when life feels dry. You are made of laughter and stardust, not sawdust. Pleasure is your birthright, a gift from the universe. Embodiment, how much juicy pleasure can you stand? Ooh. Turn up the pleasure principle. You secretly feel that you don't deserve it, but pleasure is a healing and manifesting force. Laughing, loving, and orgasmic joy is holy. Hold your hands over your reproductive area and say aloud, I deserve pleasure. Goddess declaration, it feels good to feel good. Okay. And then number 43. 43. Abol is a Baga fertility goddess, and Nimba is her living spiritual healing mask. Together, they embody the sacred feminine and abundance. Oh, okay. Abol Nimba's guidance says, give thanks. You are being blessed. It is harvest time. Pay attention. A season of great harvest is a season of great epiphanies. You are prospering. Okay. Her embodiment says, harvest is when you reap the blessings that you have sown. The harvest is not just the fulfillment of your dreams, but the creation of them. Your thoughts Your imagination, excuse me, the blessing of you being here another day on this earth, that is all harvest. What seeds of generosity, love, support, and goodwill can you sow in your community to create a bountiful harvest for all? Goddess Declaration says we are always prospering. Wow, okay. So let's put these aside. And let's start today's collective. Tell me, how does this connect to today's message? How does this connect to today's message? Oh, we start with the 10 of fire. Trial by fire, huh? Okay. The man. Very simple. Okay, the man. I believe that this actually represents a star. It's like similar, like this is 10 of fire. I'm sorry, my throat is 10 of fire, which would normally represent the 10 of wands, but this is a Jupiter card, not a Saturn card. So it actually has a much more beneficial connotation than the 10 of wands normally would. It's still, you'll see. 10 of, the man, I think, is the star. Ace of air, this would be the Ace of swords. Give me one more, please. And then we've got the 7 of earth, which would be like the 7 of pentacles. Overall, ooh, 10 of water. Okay. With the fairies and sylphs. Message from fire. 10 of earth. Damn. This is like the 10 of pentacles and the 10 of cups. But in between, we've got fairies and fire spirits. Interesting. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now my first impression before I read the cards, because these cards have a little bit of a distinct message than normal tarot, okay? So 10 of water is the 10 of cups. And if I remember correctly, the fact that the fish are all grouping together means, you know, like it was saying over here, a bountiful harvest. Kind of like if you go fishing and there's a whole school of fish, so you're going to rake in a lot of bounty, a lot of prosperity. But it does have Pisces, Neptune, and the moon. So this could also be delusion. We'll see. I don't think so because of the way it showed up over here. But there's potential that it's delusion of these things. Now, I think that the reason delusion came through is because first we have to go through a trial by fire. This 10 of fire, it shows somebody who is carrying a spirit, and which means that they're a medium in some ways, but the medium has the spirit has entered their body, but it's not forceful possession. It's somebody who's opening themselves up to be the intermediary between the spirit and the 3D world. So proof that they are connected to the spirit is the fact that they are walking on piles of hot coals, and yet they are not getting burned. So they're doing miraculous feats, which to other people might come across like they're destroying themselves, but they're really not. They're coming out unscathed. So it is 10 of wands energy in the sense that somebody's going through intense things, but the proof of their closeness with divinity will be in the fact that they come out unscathed. This is not destroying them the way it would destroy others. And with the star and the ace of swords, they're getting some confirmation that they have passed this trial by fire. 7 of earth is a lot of investment, because again, it's like you have to wait for this to grow to be able to harvest the fruit, right? So somebody has been going through trial by fire, and they're about to get, you know, doves are also messages from spirit. They're about to get messages from spirit that they have succeeded, that they have put in so much time, effort, and energy that they're coming out the other side ready for their bountiful harvest. So let's see. Let's read the 10 of water first. And be a little patient with me because I haven't used these in a while, so I need to look for them first. Here we go. 10 of water. Okay. So the meaning, it says the fish transcend their element, being able to survive with half of their bodies out of the water, forming a crown that represents friendship, a joining of forces, and a mental request or petition. They also have to cross barriers to stay for a while in another context or environment, which is the air. Ask and be thankful through faith for the lasting joy that is not a gift from the Almighty, but comes from the learning process of each member of a couple or group. This crown rewards the task performed. Everything has been fulfilled, for the Spirit is everything, and the Spirit is in all things, since the Spirit is the creation of God, the Creator present in everything. Your partner will be prolific. Your offspring and our creation, whether literary, artistic, or other, will enjoy this love that embodies body, mind, and spirit. Total peace. Okay. Now let's read 10 of Fire. So, okay, before we move on, I want to mention the fact that it did mention in Harvest, it was mentioning that pleasure, the satisfaction that comes from fulfillment, does not just come from the harvest. It also comes from the work that you put in. So remember, I always say we're on a spectrum, right? For some of you, you've already put in the work. You've already been doing the Seven of Pentacles. And because you stayed in that deep connection with Spirit, you became a vessel for Spirit, like the 10 of Fire. Now you're raking in the abundance. Whatever you produce will be prolific. It will be very well received by the world. And if you are somebody who's just beginning their journey, they're telling you the way to survive the trial by fire is to become a vessel for Spirit. Instead of saying, this is my creation, remember that you are but a vessel. Any creation that comes through you first came from Spirit. They are allowing you to be the person that brings this into fruition. But it's not your creation that you're protecting, it's Spirit that you're protecting. And that will make more sense. The more you embody that energy, the less insecure you'll feel, because you'll be in this energy of, well, it's not mine, it's Spirit. So anything that comes through, I don't have to worry if it's good enough, because it's Spirit's creation. So obviously it's good enough. Now, let's read the 10 of Fire. I want to read the description of the card on this one, because this was pretty obvious. It's 10 fish, half in, half out of water. Over there it says 10 piles of red hot coals anticipate a test of strength and courage, but also the confirmation of truth and reality, ruling out any doubts or uncertainty. The time has come to show what can and must be. When the truth of the Spirit prevails, matter is not harmed. And Orisha, with his inner saint means he's the vessel for a saint, walks impassively over the burning embers, showing afterwards no trace of any injury, burn, blister, or wound. The trance and his faith are so strong, and the power of the Orisha is so unlimited, that the man's feet seem to be covered with an ethereal and invisible asbestos coat, protecting the sun or medium of the saint and demonstrating its presence in the world. So the meaning of this card is, you will have to face the tests posed by life or by your karma. Ask your spiritual guides for help, trusting that you will not be abandoned during hard times, and you will overcome these tests without any difficulty or hardship. Your reward will be an increase in your self-esteem and the acknowledgement of your honesty by others. So we're going to go back to the spectrum thing, right? We have to remember that we are on a spectrum. Not everybody is already at the end, right? Some of you guys are at the beginning, some of us are at the beginning, some of us are in the middle, some of us are at the end. It doesn't matter what stage we're at, because we're all going to accomplish the same thing. Remember, it's like a school. It just means we're at a different grade. It does not mean that anyone's better than anyone else. So for some of you, if the hardship just began, just remember to stay in the spirit of faith. Stay in the spirit of, I am but a vessel. This is a momentary thing. I will be fine, and keep going. If you are knocked down and you get into that energy of, well, nobody cares for me, God doesn't care for me, the goddesses don't care for me, my spirit guides don't care for me, you are not a frequency match, and they cannot protect you because you are not aligned with them. It's not that they ever pull away from you. Your guides will never pull away from you. But when we drop into a very, very certain frequency, like it's very low, it's very 3D, we cannot contact them. They cannot reach us. Not that they don't want to reach us. We're out of their reach because we're closing off to them. We're not open to their guidance. We're not open to their messages. So it's really up to us. We are the ones that decide who we're open to. Okay? And when you are in a state of faith, regardless of what you go through, you're going to have protection that other people will deem impossible. But you will come out the other side. Not only, again, it said it's going to raise your self-esteem, right? But it's going to also show how much your faith paid off because you never let go of your spirit's hand. Because that's what it kind of feels like, right? Think of it like we are like a child going through the world, and our spirit guides are holding our hand. And when we go through situations where there's a big crowd pushing us and shoving us, if you get scared and you let go to curl up into a ball, you will be the one releasing them. They would never release you. And then you might get lost, but not because they lost you, but because you pulled away from them. It should be the opposite. When you're going through turmoil, you should hold on with both hands and not let go. Okay? So I don't know who that's for, but listen to that. Now, let's look at the man. And this is a major arcana in this deck. So that's why I think it is the star, but the major arcanas in this deck don't have numbers. Sorry. I don't remember which one and what order they're in because they're different. Very, very different. I do like them, but they're different. Where is the star? I mean, the man. Where is this one? Hold on, give me 1 second. There it is. Okay. So, yes, it is the star because it's talking about how the star is a magical symbol that's been with us from the beginning of time. All our conceptions work in dream. The star is an image of dreams or the idealization of a dream or an intense and fervent desire. Okay. All right. So, the star is a symbol of energy, pleasing to the eye. It represents the star that led the three magi from the east to Bethlehem. The five-pointed star indicates balance and strength and striving for human perfection. It represents good when it is, it's not upside down. So upright, it represents what? Faith and hope. Favorable prospects. Qualities of the soul. Creation, inspiration, creativity, mentalism, psychism. So being a psychic, being connected to your spirits, faith and hope were the first things to get through. I think that's why the pleasure card came out, because we're going to have to find pleasure in moments where it's really dark. You still have to find what makes you happy in that moment. Find the silver lining. Even if you can't find anything in your life at the moment and you're kind of flailing a little bit, go watch a comedy. Go do something that lightens you up. I have this habit of, I find funny videos. Like yesterday, I was scrolling and I found this video. I was cracking the fuck up. It was hilarious. It's an ad, I think an old German ad. And it's these little kids talking about how we're going to show you a magic trick. And so they go stand by a table and kid number one pulls the tablecloth and everything stays on the table, right? But he pulls the tablecloth so hard, he pushes this kid back. And then the second kid hits this chest. Kid number one takes off running because he knows it's not a chest. It's like a bookcase, a giant bookcase. Kid number one takes off running. And kid number two slips and falls, and then the bookcase falls on top of it. That's not supposed to be funny, but it is. It's too hilarious because the comments were exactly what I expected them to be. Everybody's like, the magic trick was how to become an only child. It was hilarious. But things like that, look for things. It doesn't matter how silly they may seem. But that's why, the sacred clown thing exists, because there are people who are necessary to this world. The comedians, the jokesters, they are a necessary part of this world because they bring us back into joy. They bring us back into happiness. They help us lift our vibration and lighten up. So if you are in a spot where you're feeling a little dark, go find something that brings you pleasure. And again, pleasure can be sexual, but it doesn't have to be sexual. It can be many things, okay? Now, let's look at the Ace of Air. It can be dancing, it can be reading, it can be jokes. The Ace of Air. Here we go. All right, so it says that the dove is a symbol of the Holy Spirit. So when it's upright, it says you have a duty and carry a message. I cannot. Okay. You have a duty and carry a message of peace, the result of which will be successful, reappraising your efforts and encompassing everything. Nothing should be left to chance because nothing is accidental. It is the victory of love over human mediocrity, a triumph of the spirit, high artistic value and inspiration. Remember, I believe it was in yesterday's collective, I just said, you have to remember that whoever you're battling, you're not just battling them. It's not you against them. It's them against the creation that's going to influence other people. That's what they're really battling. It's not personal. It's the fact that they don't want this message out. So whatever it is that you're creating, you have a duty to bring this to life. You have a message that you need to share. Nothing should be left to chance because nothing is accidental. That's how you triumph over these adversities. By not releasing whatever your duty is, whatever your goal is, whatever connection you have to spirit, do not let go of it. Okay? Let's look at the Seven of Earth. Okay, the Seven of Earth. I'm going to read the description because I think it matters here. It says, a man has climbed the seventh palm after considering that since it is the tallest or best seen from his viewpoint, it has more fruits. They will not be for him, but will be shared with others. The fecund and fertile land by nature will not disappoint him, but will allow him to enjoy its richness, and its love will be reflected in what it will give him. So upright, again, time for harvesting and checking what you have sown to verify that the palm has been faithful by giving its fruit prodigally, as loyal and helpful as humanity has been to its environment. A person that does not speculate, but who shares and expects the same from their own group. So today's message is about somebody who is ultimately connecting with a group, connecting with a community. Maybe that's why I felt very drawn to show so much thanks for the little community I've built, because you might be in need to build your own community, especially because, like for me, having you guys here listening, having those who let me know that my message made an impact, even the little emojis that lets me know that you listened to the full story, that you gave a fuck to follow all the way through, and then especially those of you who are explaining how this impacted them. All those things make me keep going. It gives me the strength to keep going, even on days where I don't want to, because there's everybody who is on a spiritual mission is going through this shit. And knowing that I have my community, see, I'm getting emotional. Knowing that I have my community and that I can share with you guys, and that the response will be so deeply touching, is what keeps me going. So for some of you, maybe you need to start building community. You need to start creating your own little, and I'm not saying that if you build your own community, you can't be a part of mine either, because, some communities overlap. But overall, I think it does matter to share with other people, to see their response. Let's see. Tell me about the Ten of Fire. Clarify Ten of Fire. We've got... Wow. Ten of Fire clarified by Ten of Wands. I love it. Tarot's like, we said what we said, bitch. The Sun. Clarified Ten of Fire. And Queen of Pentacles. So, with the Nine of Cups, which this is connected to the pleasure energy, right? The Nine of Cups is about do what makes you happy. If you are doing things that you do not take pleasure in, because I tell you something, I thoroughly enjoy tarot. I really do. Tarot is an art form to me. That's why when I teach it, I can't do short, quick little things because it's a vast art to me. And I want to take my time, and I want to help you savor the lesson and get as much juice out of it as possible, because that's when you'll truly understand tarot. And that's why when I'm here, I enjoy it, you know? And this is, again, if you are working on something that you are not taking pleasure in, that's most likely not your calling, because the pleasure is part of what keeps you connected to it. There's multiple things that keep you connected, the community, but the pleasure is also a big part of it. So regardless of how difficult it is, we have some of y'all may have Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Does not have to be. We also have Leo here. The star is obviously Aquarius energy. You know, there's so many energies here that you could share. It's more Queen of Pentacles energy in the sense that you have consistently worked on this thing or built something. And with the Sun, it gives you a lot of happiness. It gives you a lot of pleasure. It gives you a lot of joy. Even when it's difficult, even when you're facing obstacles, even when you're facing challenges, it doesn't stop you from what you're doing because this is too much fun. It's too enjoyable to let anything stop you from doing it, you know? Kind of like, when you think of pleasure, for me, sexual pleasure comes to mind because I'm a very sexual person. Imagine that, has it ever happened to you where you're like having sex and you're really enjoying it and then you get a cramp? You might stop for a second, but you'll, for me, I'll be like, well done. Let me work out this cramp and then we can continue. I'm not going to stop either. So I feel like that's connected here. Only like, that's a silly example, but it works in the sense that when you are something is intensely pleasurable to you, even if there's a little bit of an upset, you're going to be like, hold on, give me a second. I'm going to come right back. This isn't going to stop me. You have to really be in the energy of appreciating what you do, taking real, genuine pleasure from it, having a sense of curiosity, because that's what's going to help you hold on to it. Clarify the Man or the Star. Oh, that one went reversed. Okay. King of Cups reversed. Knight of Swords reversed. Clarify the Star. And the I love it. I love it. The Two of Swords. The Moon. Queen of Cups. I think that on some level, the King of Cups could represent the fact that reversed, you may be pushing emotions down. With the Knight of Swords, it's because there's certain things you don't want to know. Because the Knight of Swords upright is a truth seeker. And you don't want to know. You don't want to know. You don't want to know. But what you're in denial of with the Two of Swords, this is a internal clashing and also being in denial of something, is that you are kind of losing hope. But what you're losing hope in is love, possibly. Losing hope in love, losing hope that you'll ever find your partner. Like you feel a little lost. When in reality, there's a perfect person out there for you. There always will be. We have the King and Queen of Cups, but it's almost like you're losing faith that this type of masculine exists, that your true partner would exist. And there's fear in you, almost like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know if that exists, because you know what? At this point, it's always a disappointment. It'll turn out that they were married to someone else, or it'll turn out that they're actually an asshole, or it'll turn out that they're deceiving me in some way. And so you are, that could also be a pleasure that you're fighting. You're in this place of being so wounded that you're rejecting love, because it feels good, but once it hurts, it really fucking hurts. And so you're pushing it away. And it's interesting, both the stars came out upright, because they're saying, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope, because this is part of what's going to keep you going. We have no guarantee of which partner will be the one for us, the one that will stay with us throughout our lifetime. But it's not about that. The pleasure that comes with romance, the pleasure that comes with loving someone, is part of the beauty of life. I mean, that's where the age-old question comes of, is it better to have loved or not have loved at all? Is it better to have loved and lost, or to never have loved at all? And I'm one of those that think it's much better to have loved and lost. What's it? Even though I have a Scorpio Venus, the pain is intense. I prefer to have known what that felt like. So let's see. Clarify Ace of Air. Clarify Ace of Air. Look, the Lovers. Wow, that is so wild that the Lovers and the Three of Swords is coming out in the card that was talking about you have a duty. Like you, it almost feels like Spirit has an arranged marriage for you. And you're like, nope. And Spirit's like, ma'am, sir, this is part of your path. And you're just like, Clarify the Ace of Air. You're like, no, I already know where that bullshit goes. Not going to be pulling me into no romantic thing. Oh, shit. Bitch. The Emperor? Wow. Oh, look at you. Oh, I'm laughing because this almost feels like, okay, this image made me feel like some of you, either one, y'all had like a one-night stand with someone and then y'all walked away. In the middle of the night, y'all walked away, left that person sleeping, was like, deuces. So you've kind of turned into someone who will take pleasure, but in very short bursts, and then you don't want anything else. Because you feel, look, in this Three of Swords, there's a dead whale, right? And in this Strength card, there's a net being wrapped around the whale. The Queen of Wands, yeah. Yeah. You're in this energy of like, you ain't about to catch me in that bullshit. Like, yeah, I'll have pleasure. I'll enjoy myself, and then I'm gone. They're not going to be catching me. The thing about that is, though, that in being in that energy, in being in that frequency, you are you're embracing the empowerment of pleasure, as in you're not denying yourself pleasure. You're probably very selective because it showed up with Queen of Wands energy. You're probably in fact, you're probably an Empress, because we've seen all the queens show up. Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, I'm sure will be here eventually, because you're a match to an Emperor. So whoever this person is that you had some little fling with, and you think, we're done. I think that you think that because in this Lovers card, these two are in very different places, right? One is underwater, and they are a mermaid, and the other one's on land, and they have this kingdom behind them. So you may think that you're being practical. Like, I mean, I could enjoy myself with this person, but long term, we don't work out. It would never work. It would only lead to heartbreak. But what you are not counting on, I'm getting that, those of you who are Mexican are going to get it. I'm hearing, no contaban con mi astucia. That's why El Chavo del Ocho or Chespirito, whatever. It was a comedian. And he would he had a show where he was like a superhero that was actually a roach. It was meant to be comedic, and it was really funny. And his tagline was, no contaban con mi astucia, which means you weren't counting on my intellect, on my astuteness. And you are not counting on the fact that you're actually dealing with a king. So they may be the one that's underwater, and you may be the one that's on land, because they're showing up as, this is what, Neptune, Poseidon. This is not someone who's going to take a heartbreak lying down. And in a way, you're kind of breaking their heart. It makes me laugh because the duty thing, it almost feels like, you know how in the old days, if in almost all cultures, if it was discovered that a man had slept with a woman, they would like, oh, you took her virtue, now you have to marry her. And this almost feels like the reverse. Like this emperor is gonna pull a Uno reverse on you and be like, you have taken my virtue. I don't know why that's so hilarious to me. And now it's your duty to marry me. It's your duty to be in my life. I feel like you're very resistant, though, because you've kind of lost hope, especially when it comes to love. But maybe this is here because this pleasure and this, in the companionship and the being around this person will help you build a community, I believe. Let's see. This is getting interesting. Clarify Seven of Earth. Look, what did I just say? Community. And we get the Ten of Pentacles, and look at all those people in the picture. Clarify Seven of Earth. Two of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. Oh my God. With the Five of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups. I feel like I'm talking to someone. I'm talking to someone who has gotten so used to being alone. Look at the body language here. Fetal position. And they are refusing to look at the mermaid in the water. Like, no. This is not, it wouldn't last. So whoever you're meeting, I think the reason it does go to the point where y'all may have passion together, y'all may, have a one night or maybe a few nights. I feel like it's going to be a few nights. You're looking at this person, the fact that they're showing up here with the mermaid energy, you look at them like they can't be real. They can't be real. So you run before. Have you become the runner now? You used to deal with runners and now you're the runner. Okay, interesting. You take off before you end up getting hurt. But what you didn't count on was the fact that this is not a quitter. His mama didn't raise no quitter. So, look at this. This is a whole community underwater, which is this person's family. This person might have an extensive family. And they may be like old fashioned in some way, like they eat together. The elders, take care of the little ones. It seems like a very communal type of thing. And with the Two of Pentacles, you kind of took it like, yeah, this is like, they're doing a little song and dance. They're performing for me. And I'm allowing them to build this little fantasy because, I think they're hot. We could totally hook up. And almost like whatever type of person they are, you already know that they're like sexually clean. So you're not worried about STDs. You're not worried about them knocking you up because just how they present themselves, you know that they would protect themselves from that. They would not put themselves in that position. What you don't realize is that this is genuinely who they are. That is not a song and dance that they're doing. This is really who they fucking are. They're very protective. Not only do I know that because they're showing up as a motherfucking emperor who is represented by Neptune, Poseidon, which is the king of the ocean, the god of the ocean, but he has, look, troops. He's got troops that would fight for you just like he would. So the gift, oh my God, this is so cute. I don't know who I'm reading for, but it's like the gift that you're getting from spirit is you're being gifted a family. You're being gifted a community. You're being gifted refuge. Wow, this is so cute, guys. That's why over here we got the Ten of Water and the Ten of Earth. So it doesn't matter whether you're at the beginning of this Ten of Wands or you're at the end of it. This is what comes after. This is so freaking cute. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. If you're on Patreon, follow me to part 2. If you're not on Patreon, I hope to see you there eventually. But remember, if you want to contribute, you got this far, look at the emojis that I put in the title, and you can drop those down below in the comments, okay? Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.